everybody. Welcome back to Reestablishment. This is the part 2 of the special that we did a little bit ago called Meet My Wife. And so if you didn't see that particular episode, go back and take a listen to it, where for the first time, I interviewed my wife, Michelle. So this is part 2, and the reason I've asked her to come back is because I think she has something really important to say about a very important topic. And so here on Reestablishment, the goal is to reestablish those basic foundations and principles in our lives of others, that will carry us through and give us a better life. Today we're going to talk about raising a child with special needs. Michelle and I have a son that has special needs. God gave him an extra chromosome, and so he has Down syndrome. But in talking about people with special needs, it may not be you, but somebody you know, Down syndrome is becoming more acceptable, which I think is fantastic.
Yes.
Less and less people are motivated to put them in a corner or even have them aborted. People with Down syndrome are very, very smart. They're very functional. They have a lot to give. And so I want to start, by the way, hi, honey.
Hi.
Welcome. I want to start by you telling the story of the beginning when you found out about Bo, because you tell it the way I can't, but I'll set it up. So Bo was unexpected.
Yes. Very.
And I'm so grateful after having 3 daughters, I finally got my son. And so when I found out she was pregnant, I had just come back from military. I was overseas for a while and just so excited to be home and then find out that she was pregnant. And then going through all the tests that pregnancy and making sure everything's okay. Well, at that time, I was teaching a class at the sheriff's office I worked at, and it was a class curriculum that I'd written. So I had to be there to teach it. It wasn't one that I could have another instructor step in and take over the class. And so I was teaching this class, and it was pretty big. It was about 40 people in there, while she was at the doctor. So I couldn't go to the doctor with her for this particular...
No. So
wow.
I got a phone call on my cell phone at work.
That's right.
And
okay.
I called and you said, I can't get out of this class. I have to teach it. And I said, okay. So they called me and said, I have to get down to the doctor's office right now. Right now. I had to be there. Okay. So I was 43 when I had Bo at the time. So imagine what's going through my mind. Everything. They wouldn't tell me anything over the phone. I had to get down there now. So I get there, thank goodness I know them all. They're my friends. She brings me right back and had already been crying. I didn't even know what it was. I don't remember the drive from my office to the doctor's office. I just know I had to get there. They put me right back in a room. The doctor comes in and he says, your baby that you're pregnant with is going to have Down syndrome. I remember just crying like a baby, and he said, do you want to know what it is? I said, yes. He says, it's a boy. And then he let the 2 nurses come in who are my friends. And then we just cried together. So then I had to go to the office where you were teaching because I had to come tell you. But what I remember was when I talked to you, you told me, no matter what it is.
Well, let me say this, because I shut everything down when I'm teaching classes.
Right.
So as soon as the class was over, I turned my phone on and it was blowing up
yes,
like nuts.
I kept calling because I'm like...
And so I called you and I said, my class is over, and you were bawling.
Yes. And
I said,
where are you parked? And you're like, I'm in the parking garage.
No, I said, where are you?
Oh,
and you
yes.
said, I'm here.
Here.
I go, what does that mean? She goes, I'm parked right next to your car. So take it from there.
So I get out of the car and I tell him, he's like, okay, what did the doctor say? And I said, it's a boy, but he has Down syndrome. And you looked at me on there and you said, that's it. We got this. And and we have never looked back. Never have looked. My job that I was at, I only told my best friend because I worked with her at the time, and my boss, and that's really nobody else knew. And at work, they told me how positive I was, and they would have never known that I was going to have a baby with Down syndrome. Because then, like I told them, what was I going to do? What were my options? What I had to be positive. So I told my mom and my dad, my aunt and my uncle, and again, my best friend, I chose not to tell our girls. I didn't do that out of I didn't do it. I felt my reason was it felt right. And because I didn't want them to Google everything on Down syndrome and think, oh, he's going to have this. He's going to be that way. He's going to have this. I didn't want the gonnas in there. He's gonna. So I didn't want them. They weren't real happy with me that I didn't tell them. But as a woman being pregnant with a child that you know is going to have special needs, what a hard thing to go through. So I can't tell another woman how to feel, because you don't know. And every woman's going to feel differently. This woman, anybody listening today, if you are pregnant with a child that has special, you're going to feel differently than I may have felt. But for me, I had to be positive. I didn't feel there was any other way or any other choice.
Well, I know when the doctor wanted to give you all your options.
Yes.
That didn't go well for the doctor.
No, didn't go well because
that was pretty much get out of my face.
Right. Because he said one of my options was not something that I choose.
Right. But you had experience. You had a neighbor that had a child with special needs. It wasn't Downs.
Yep, wasn't Downs. But I've always had a heart, and I always told him this. Yeah. I've always had a heart for kids with special needs. And our youngest daughter, Isabella, I'm sure she'll be on one of your shows one time. She has a heart, and this is why this is ironic. Now, nobody knew, and Isabella did not know anything, but she told me one day driving home in the car, Mom, what if this little boy, what if he has Down syndrome? Now, mind you, she didn't know. She had no clue. And I just kind of sat there like, okay, maybe she did. But to this day, she told me she did. She just asked that question because, again, I've always had a heart for any kid with special needs, whether it be autistic, whether it be Down syndrome, any type of special needs. I encourage parents, again, we're back to encourage parents, seek help, seek support. I am very thankful. Again, I go back to family, extremely fantastic family support, everybody. And to this day, we have that same support. And I will tell you this quick story. Our son has changed some of our family members' hearts. I've seen it firsthand. I've watched it. It tickles me so much inside to see that he has changed. And it's the little things. It makes you realize that in life, we get upset, we get mad, we get angry, we get over the littlest things. And then when Bo, our son, comes in the room and he starts talking and doing stuff, and you're like, really? I was really mad about. He just brings joy and laughter. And
so let's fast forward a little bit. So he did have some medical issues. And I've said this before, those of you that are watching or listening, if you don't believe in miracles, that's your choice. We've seen it firsthand. The hole in his heart that he was born with closed up.
Yes.
But on its own, of course. His ear canals are completely normal when they weren't. His growth chart is as a normal child. So when they measure his growth, now he's in elementary school, that he's on a normal child's growth chart. We have watched and seen he's verbal. He can take care of his hygiene. We're watching him grow and do things that he wasn't supposed to do. So we stand in prayer. We're a family of faith, and we stand in prayer, and we believe, and we've seen it. Here's what I would encourage you to do. If you watching today or listening, if you have a child with any kind of special needs, what we have done is we've taken all these doctor's reports and we put them together. This is his life, and this is his story. This is his miracle, that someday when he becomes an adult, he can go back and he can show the doctor's reports where his ear canals were closed and then they were open. The hole in the heart released by the cardiologist. And we can go on and on and on about the different things that we've seen. And so it's been a joy. I'm not going to say that there's not.
Yes, I was going to say
that there's not challenges.
There's lots of challenges.
There's lots of challenges.
Yeah, and again, you guys listening or watching, that's what I also want to point
Yeah.
out. Really, don't get me wrong. There's days that you're like, gosh,
But the good outweighs the bad.
Exactly. But you just keep on doing it. You just keep on doing it. And I really don't look at, it's a choice. No, you just go. You just go. And as I tell everybody this, I let him show us. He's going to show us who he is, what he can do, what he's capable of.
Yeah.
To again, fast forward today, he takes karate 3 times a week. He's wonderful at that. They are wonderful with him where he goes to. He's been doing it. It'll be 3 years this July. He's pretty high up there in belt.
Now, I will say, so he does have a special gift, and
oh yes,
he's not the only one. Since we've talked with other people that have had kids with special needs, especially Downs. He can read a room.
Yes.
When he comes into a room or goes to a public gathering or whatever, he is so intuitive on reading people,
yes.
whether they be good or bad. I don't know a proper way to say it. And it's funny because we never say anything. And there are some people he will completely ignore and not have anything to do with.
Yeah.
And there's others that are strangers. He runs right to their arms, gives them a hug and loves on them. And we watch this gift that he has of being able to cipher, discernment on different people. And for us, it's kind of really cool to see and watch. He is a joy to be around, very, very stubborn, very hard-headed, but so loving at the same time.
Yes.
And so I want to encourage you today, those of you that may not just be parents, but siblings. Our older girls have been really good with him, whether you're grandparents, whether you're another family member that, or maybe you work at a church or a daycare and you have special needs folks. They have something really important to give. Yes. And if you would just take the extra time to see what that is and to let them show you, they will. And so, like Michelle said, we're waiting to see. Michelle always says to him, thank you for picking me as your mom.
I always tell him that all the time because everybody says, God only gives special, kids to special people. And I don't know that I'm special, but I always tell him, thanks you for choosing me as your mom because it has really taught me a lot. And I know why he chose me. It's because, again, I've always had a heart for kids with special needs, and he has just kind of shown me that when I look at him, it's like everything's going to be okay.
So I will say this, in a messed up world that we live in and all of the things that go on, one of the things that has really kind of taken me aback a little bit is the school he goes to. He's almost like a rock star. And at first, I kind of thought, what's going on? So this is a public elementary school and goes up to 5th grade. And literally everybody from teachers to students and all the grades know Bo. And what I found is interesting, and this is where one area that I think as a whole, as society, that I think we've done better, is you and I were really worried about bullying.
Yes.
And we really haven't seen that. No. I think one of the things that this generation has really done better with is accepting folks for who they are as a person and not being so quick in judgment and rallying around those that may be different than us. And so I have really, really been pleasantly surprised that we have not really had any incidents of bullying. Matter of fact, just the opposite, where we have seen kids go out of their way to stand shoulder to shoulder with our son.
Yes.
And for that, I'm very grateful. And we like to see the positive side of our society. And I think that's one of the positives. But today I want to close on this. If you have somebody with special needs and you need help, There are many, many different things out there, places to turn, resources. You may have to search them out. We have found out you are the most important advocate
Yes.
for your child or your loved one. Nobody else is going to be an advocate for them like you can. But there are times when people are not just going to show up and offer assistance. You're going to have to search that out and go after those things that you will need to help you with support. But I will encourage you, I promise you, if you will just take the time to take that extra breath, you will laugh and smile more than you ever thought you could. And you will see that it's not really a detriment, but they're just different, and they are a blessing from God. Any last words?
No, it's okay to be different. And our Isabella, our daughter, always talks about, Mom, what is normal? I said, you're right. That's right.
Well, definitely in our family.
Yes.
Yeah, it's what our normal is, but I don't know that we're normal.
Yes, it's okay.
Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
For these two podcasts about our family. Hopefully this has helped somebody. Hopefully this will get somebody to look inside and maybe cry out to God and pray and ask for help, ask for guidance. And maybe, just maybe, we can save a life. We can save a marriage, a family, based on what we've been through.
Yes.
Thanks, honey. I love you.
Love you.
And see you in about 30 minutes at the house. Have a good one.
This episode of Reestablishment is brought to you by Man360.tv, a show for men about manly things. Check it out, Man360.tv.
As an evangelist.